Time of Wonder by Robert McCloskey. This book was written in 1957, so it is 59 years old. Probably not this copy of it, though. Out on the islands that poke their rocky shores above the waters of Pennsconabet Bay, you can watch the time of the world go by, from minute to minute, hour to hour, from day to day, season to season. You can watch a cloud peep over the Camden Hills, 30 miles away across the bay. See it slowly grow and grow as it comes nearer and nearer. See it darken the hills with its shadow, and then see it darken one after the other. Islesboro, Western Island, Pond Island, Hog Island, Spectacle Island, Two Bush Island, darken all the islands in between until you and your island are standing in the shadow, watching the rain begin to spill down way across the bay. The wind comes closer and closer. Now you hear a million splashes. Now you even see the drops on the water, on the age-old rocky point, on the bayberry, on the grass. Now take a breath. It's raining on you. At the water's edge, on a foggy morning in the early spring, you feel as though you were standing alone on the edge of nowhere. You hear a snorting sound from out of the nowhere, and you know that no, you are not alone. A family of porpoises is nearby, rolling over and over, having an acrobatic breakfast, and of herring under the bay. And through the fog you hear Harry Smith over at Blasto's Cove start the engine of his lobster boat and go out to pull his traps. Suddenly, there is a ripple and a splash along the shore that makes you jump. It is the wake of Harry Smith's lobster boat, and you smile because you almost got wet feet that time. The ripple disappears into the fog, and though you cannot see it, you know that it is silently gliding on its way. Then another distant unseen splash, and the gulls and the cormorants on Two Bush Ledge, with their seabird sense of humor, start giggling and laughing because they too were suddenly surprised by the wake. Back from the shore, the trees look like ghosts. The forest is so quiet that you can hear an insect boring a tunnel deep inside a log. And that other sound, not the beating of your heart, but the one like half a whisper, is the sound of growing ferns, pushing aside dead leaves, unrolling their fiddleheads, slowly unfurling, slowly stretching. Now the fog turns yellow, the bees begin to buzz, and a hummingbird hums by, and all the birds begin to sing, and suddenly the fog has lifted, and suddenly you find that you are singing too, with the blue water sparkling all around, and the blue water sparkling all around. At the height of the summer season, the bay is spotted with boats, with racing sailboats, with cruising schooners, with busy fishing boats, and with buzzing outboards. In the afternoon, you sail among the islands, pushed by gentle breezes. You sail close by Swan's Cove ledges, where a mother seal is nursing her baby. And then, at sunset, with porpoises puffing and playing around your boat, you come about and set course for the island that is home. The rock on the point of the island is very old. It was fiery hot when the world was new. It was icy cold when a glacier covered it with grinding weight. This morning the rock is warm in the sun and loud with happy noise of children who have come to spend the day. They dive off the rock and swim. They stretch out, dripping in the sun, making salty young silhouettes on the old scars made by the glacier. In the afternoon, when the tide is out, they build a castle out of rocks and driftwood below the spot where they had belly whoppered and dog paddled during the morning. In the evening, when the tide is high again, and your guests have gone, you row around to the point feeling lonely, until an owl asks a question, a heron croaks an answer, a seal sniffs softly as he recognizes you, and eider ducks and fish hawks are all listening, all are listening, all are watching as you row by the rock. You shine a light down into the water. There is a crab on the bottom where you were playing this afternoon. He tiptoes sideways through the castle gate and disappears into its watery keep. You snap off the light and row toward the dock as the stars are gazing down, their reflections gazing up. In the quiet of the night, 100 pairs of eyes are watching you, while one pair of eyes is watching over all. As the days grow shorter and shorter, there are fewer and fewer boats on the bay, until at last only the fishing boats are left. The wind blows brisk from the northwest, rustling the birch leaves. The ferns change from green to yellow to brown. The robins are gone from the lawns and the gardens. The swallows have flown from their nests in the boathouse to take their places. Migrating birds from the north stop off to rest on their way south. The crows and the gulls fly over, fussing and feuding, and the hummingbirds visit the petunia patch. Mr. Billings flies over, looking for schools of herring. When he sees you waving on the beach, he dips the seaplane's wings in greeting. On some days, the wind is so strong that not even the sturdy fishing boats are out on the bay. Now it is time for being watchful, and other times there is not a breath of wind to ripple the reflection of an unusual sky. Now is the time for being prepared. Over in Blasthouse Cove, Harry Smith looks at the sky and says, "We're going to have some weather." At Eggemoggin Reach, Clyde Snowman listens to the loons and says, "It's a-comin'." At Cape Rosier, Fred Clifford listens to the sound of the bell off Spectacle Island and says, "She's gonna blow." On your island, you feel the light, crisp feeling go out of the air, and a heavy stillness take its place. It's time to make a quick trip to the mainland for food and gasoline. It's time to get ready. We're going to have some weather. It's a-comin'. She's gonna blow. In Berks Harbor are the cruise schooners, the Alice Wentworth, the Stephen Tabor, and the Victory Chimes, riding at anchor to spend the winter. Men are busy, putting out extra anchors, puffing up skiffs and rowboats, checking moorings, checking chains, checking pennants, getting ready. Take aboard groceries, take aboard gasoline. All the talk is of 100-pound anchors, 2-inch rope, 1-inch chains, and will it hold, and the weather, and when. Mr. Gray strokes his chin and says, "With the next shift of the tide, hurry for home, for there's much to be done before the tide is too low."